I built a longevity plan in ChatGPT. I set a goal to live to 100.
For us in marketing, AI is a very scary proposition that has to be taken very seriously.
I love it because I feel like I'm a superhero with AI. I can do anything.
AI has just been amazing and has come up with a lot of ideas, solutions to problems that I couldn't really think through myself.
Now I'm using ChatGPT to fix all the stuff on the website so that it'll come up higher in the results for Google.
This is Real AI Use Cases Business Owners Roundtable with hosts Elizabeth Gearhart, podcast consultant, marketing expert, and PhD researcher using AI every day, and Richard Gearhart, entrepreneur, seasoned business owner, and intellectual property attorney specializing in innovation. Here's how real companies are using AI right now.
Now it is time for Real AI Use Cases Business Owners Roundtable. I'm going to ask everybody here for one way they're using AI in their business, and then we're going to go through and do a roundtable after everybody gives probably their funnest way they're using it or their most creative way. And I am going to start with Matt Ross of OneRiverSchool.com. Matt, what is one way you're using AI?
So right now we're building a whole new technology suite to support our business, and we're building an AI service tool that helps improve the member experience. What it does is that when people need a quick question answered, as opposed to them calling our school, going to voicemail, etc., it will activate a sort of service tab that will answer most of the readily accessible questions. So the customer experience gets better because they don't have to wait for an email to come back to them or a phone call to get returned. And so it just simplifies the member experience on basic customer service questions.
That is a great way. So Eleanor Kubacki with EFK Group.com. What is one way you're using AI?
For us, it is less about one way and every which way, but
Okay,
loose.
what's your favorite way? Pick one. We'll
Pick
talk
one.
about the
Okay.
rest of them after.
Okay, so my favorite one for me is right now is we are adapting to AI agents for all of our staff. And for me, that's really exciting, the possibilities, and depending upon what someone does at the agency, how and when to use AI agents. So for me, that's very much fun.
That's the next phase. That's
Yes.
a big one.
Yes.
So Antonia Tomao with AntoniasPromise.com. What is one way? I see you laughing over there. What is one way you're using AI right now?
Honestly, to learn. I ask it so many questions. I learn from it so much. And I'm using it to market. I'm using it to brand myself. I'm using it to learn. I just had to fill out this tax certification. I'm like, I don't need an accountant. I'll do it myself. Renewed my real estate license on it.
That was about 20.
There's nothing it can't do.
So Richard Gearhart with GearhartLaw.com. What's like your favorite way right now? Or what did you do this morning with it?
We're in the process of trying to acquire another intellectual property practice. And it's a very complicated process because they're using different systems, working out the commission structures for the attorneys, trying to figure out how it's all going to work. And AI has just been amazing and has come up with a lot of ideas and solutions to problems that I couldn't really think through myself. And so far, the responses have made sense, right? So you always worry, well, am I getting bad advice here? But the fact is that it's been pretty good on this topic. I think it does well when you have a very limited scope of information.
Yes.
I agree.
So for me, Elizabeth Gearhart with Gear Media Studios, I put together a website for this particular podcast, and I had Google Gemini lead me through every step of the way, but there were things wrong with it. So then I let it sit and vegetate because all the changes have to go through. And then I went to ChatGPT and I said, what's wrong with this website? Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff wrong with it. So now I'm using ChatGPT to fix all the stuff on the website so that it'll come up higher in the results for Google. So we've said this so many times, you can't just use one of these things. You got to use a bunch of them. But yeah, so I would like to open this up.
I love AI.
Okay.
I love it so much. And you had mentioned working on your website. So someone did help me create my new website, which I love. But I also taught myself with ChatGPT how to now put in SEO so that people can find me on Google. And I spent like 48 to 72 hours going through each product that I have and just learning. And I love that piece of it where it can teach me how to do it and I don't have to wait to hire someone to do it and I could do it myself. And my husband says it's the true mark of an entrepreneur. But whatever it is, I love it because I feel like I'm a superhero with AI. I can do anything. It really can teach me just about anything. And I learn very well.
Yeah, you're smart, girl. Yeah. And Eleanor, I told you I would give you a chance to go through the next million things you're doing.
Yeah. So for us in marketing, AI is a very scary proposition that has to be taken very seriously. To love AI. Absolutely love it. And about a year and a half ago, we made a huge investment and built out our own software so that we could be ahead of this. However, there's still a lot of limitations. I sort of call it the wild, wild west. And to be part of that and be present during this and being able to take it to the next level with really strong partners has been very life affirming for me. There's two sides of this coin. There's a part of me that's very nervous about our creatives, our designers, our writers. Right now in our agency, about 35% of all of our work is now being done by AI. And that's a very scary place to be, being a CEO. Because part of being a CEO is to be able to drive business and help with people's careers. And so for me, AI, figuring out to harness it right now to be able to grow an agency is a very interesting place. And that's really what I do all day long, is how to find that intersection.
Yeah, I do think, though, if you're not using it, you're going to be at a disadvantage.
Correct.
So
yeah.
I'm using Manus AI agent, and maybe we can talk a little bit about what AI agents are. And it creates the most beautiful images. And I'm using those graphics to A/B test the YouTube channel and also to test the distribution for the audio, for the covers, for the podcasts. And I'm finding out different things. It can do almost anything you ask it to. And the thing I like about Manus as an agent, it can make one little change where I find the other ones can't.
I'm going to add an extension. I was talking about One River School, but a big part of what I'm also doing right now is building out my own personal brand. I've spent all the decades building businesses and never really focused on that. I put the business brands way out in front of me, and I really wanted to stimulate awareness for them. But now as an author, somebody who's building a speaking practice, and somebody who is now chairman, founder of One River School, now that I've hired a CEO, the question is how do I live the most aspirational life that I could, where I have the proper blend of doing things that are really great for my business and for me personally. I built a longevity plan in ChatGPT, which is very disciplined, as if I was solving a business solution. I upload all of my tests, all of my studies. I share goals and ambitions to travel, to be healthy. What do I need to do? And so I set a goal to live to 100. Now people go, why do you want to do that? Well, because I want to. If you don't want to, it's okay. You live to 80. I want to live to 100. So can I? Will you leave me alone? And so it sounds really weird, but one of the areas where chat can help us, and it does serve our business needs, is if you're healthier and if you have less stress and if you're sleeping better, you'll optimize your brain and you'll be better at work and you'll be better for your people. And that's what I'm trying to do at this stage of my life, because I don't have the stamina that I had at 40 and I don't have the attention span. So I really have to optimize my biochemistry. I'm training to be a great executive chairman, and I'm training to be a great person in life and to live long. And that's really where it's helping me personally.
And that's awesome. And I know another person who's doing things along those lines. Richard.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm on the same wavelength, Matt. I'm trying to lose weight for triathlon. That's at the end of May.
Wow.
So that's a calorie goal. I put in all the food that I eat. I can just tell it I had a piece of chicken and some green beans, and it calculates the calories and the macros for me. It says, well, you got 1,000 calories left for the day. And then it gives me a little coaching, and you need more fiber or this or that. And it's worked. I've lost probably 30 pounds over the last couple of years.
And I have to say, we were sitting here at iHeart. We were eating our lunch out in this little area. There were these 2 plates full of these incredible pastries.
I know.
And Richard didn't even touch it.
And they're my weakness. If it weren't for ChatGPT, I would have eaten them.
I want to add,
because I didn't want to face ChatGPT with a mouthful of pastry.
I want to add one thought, and you talked about being a learner and loving to learn, and I have that disease. Like, I am just growth. Obviously, I wrote this book and all, but there is a challenge, though, with all that information and now the access to a personal genius at your fingertips. Yeah. You can go down rabbit hole after rabbit hole. The thing I struggle with is, when do I shut it down and stop, consolidate?
What I hate is when it gives you like 3 different options. And I'm like, I want all of them. And then, but you're right. You can just keep going and going and going. And you get down in these infinite loops. And all of a sudden, you've killed 3 hours and you're
your
wondering.
brain's exploding and it's hard to sleep because now you're working so hard to be better that you're pushing every intellectual property you have in your brain to absorb all this, categorize it, and act on it. It's really hard. So you got to, there is a point where too much. I
want a break. I like to have a fight with it.
Oh, really?
What names do you call
do
it?
this when I'm not. Do you pretend like it's Richard?
No.
Act like Richard.
Well, Google Gemini, Claude said this. Why are you telling me this? And then
you can have a fight with your spouse and not even really fight with them, right?
funny.
What a perfect tool.
So funny.
yeah, I do like to sometimes go really deep with one of them and just keep poking it with the same question, rephrased different ways, and bringing out different things into it, and it gives you better answers. So if you just, if you do it all night long, eventually you get to a place where it really is, I'm not speaking from experience, well, a little bit, but you'll get to a place where it's giving you different but better, deeper answers, I think.
Yeah.
But there are limitations. I
Yes.
have found that. I was looking for a greenhouse this week. And believe it or not, finding a greenhouse it's unbelievable how difficult it is. Make a long story short, what happened is that it gets stuck, right? Yeah. And so us as humans, and especially as entrepreneurs, we don't really get stuck, but it definitely gets stuck. When it got stuck with, these are the 3 companies that you can go to, and it's a pretty small marketplace, but believe it or not, there's so many small businesses that do custom greenhouses. But I had to go and find those. And then once I uploaded that information, my hope is that it isn't only looking at the big guys. So there are limitations, right? And I know it's very addicting, but there are limitations to what it can and cannot do.
So when you do that upload, it says, "Great job! It's amazing that you figured this out. You're on the path to being a pro gardener."
It isn't so true. It isn't always right either. But
No,
yeah.
it really isn't.
Yeah.
But
Won the Green Thumb Award.
yeah, exactly.
Well, we could go on all afternoon because I love talking about AI. And so this is why we put this segment in here and made this a podcast. Everybody that was coming on this show wanted to talk about AI, as did we. So anyway, this has been Real AI Use Cases Business Owners Roundtable.
You have been listening to Real AI Use Cases Business Owners Roundtable. We hope you found this valuable. Join us again for more stories, because the future of business is driven by AI. This podcast was recorded at the iHeart Studios in Manhattan as part of the Passage to Profit radio show.